Happy Friday, degenerate gamblers. Welcome to the Sharp Action Report. We are talking a view across the desk for UFC 314. If it's your first time watching this show, this is less of a breakdown and preview show, more of an informational show for you, the gamblers, the fight fans. You can get an idea of what's going on across the counter as opposed to people like me just speculating at these line moves. We are joined by my favorite guy across the desk, Andrew from Superbook Sports, who's going to give us some info on every single fight here on this card. My guy, how you doing today?
Man, I'm pretty pumped. We got Masters going on today. Lots of action flowing through for that tournament. But then obviously we got the pay-per-view card coming up tomorrow. I feel like we've been looking forward to a card like this. There's been a couple of I won't say dumpster fire, but not name recognition cards as of the last month or so. So I'm really looking forward to this card, man.
And I'll say it. It's been dumpster fires. It's dumpster fires all the way down. And then even like you go back, what was the last pay-per-view we had, UFC 313, that like, I don't know, it felt like that one just didn't quite have the pop everyone was expecting, even though it had some good names on it. So I'm with you, man. This is a great card. It looks like we've got some solid fights, some good names, top to bottom. And what you and I were talking about backstage before we clicked live here on the show, some very competitive lines, which is not a thing we tend to see on these big pay-per-view cards. So lots of opportunities for chaos today. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in here to the show. Please do me a favor, hit the like button, get subscribed to the channel if you haven't. Make sure you give our guy Andrew a follow, especially if you're on social media, over on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. He's a good follow over there and always posts out some informational stuff. Sometimes even last second, right before these fights kick off on Saturday mornings, he does one final wrap up with some information. So definitely somebody who you want to be following, some information for you. Let's dive straight on into this thing, man. Like I mentioned, everybody, we're running through the card. We're not going to talk about the fights from a stylistic perspective. This is more informational, money, betting, and every once in a while, I'll ask my guy for his opinion on a fight. We've got Nora Cornwall and Haley Cowan kicking off the card. Line has played tug of war a little bit from what I have seen. I'm a never Haley Cowan type of person. I feel like the UFC is trying to push her for God knows what reason. I really don't understand. But we had a little slip. I will let you guys know. I always do the undefeated post-weigh-in show for you guys, which will be coming later this afternoon. Spoilers. Nora Cornwall missed weight this morning. So very interesting little wrinkle to throw for this first fight of the night. Andrew, what are you seeing from across the desk? What do we need to know about this fight?
Yeah, this is one where it was kind of one-way action to start it. We opened up Cornwall at 180. The money was coming in on her side. It got as high as $2. I won't say there was a ton of handle on this fight, obviously, first fight of the card. But then after the weight miss, we did get one of our respected customers early this morning coming in bet on Haley Cowan. So it's nice to see a dog play early on the card because we will, like I always say on these pay-per-view, need a couple of the dogs. So it wouldn't be a bad one for us to start the card off with the dog. And like I said, we did get a respected bet after that weight miss, if that means anything to you guys.
Okay. That does mean a little something, as always. Unfortunate for me. I did go ahead and throw Nora in a parlay. The weight miss scares me. The sharp action on the other side of the desk scares me. So a little bit of a worry there for me. But starting off the night with a little bit of a sharp respected action dog bet, you guys. Next fight, Tresean Gore and Mauricio Tulio Silva. One of the few big lines we have on this card. Silva is a minus 380 favorite from what I'm seeing market wide for the most part, and I don't know many people lining up to bet on Tresean Gore. Have you seen anything notable on this one?
No, not too notable anything on the fight. We opened up Tulio at $3. It's, like you said, sitting 380 now. So there's been movement in his direction. The most respected bet I would say that we took so far on this fight was on the under. So people are looking for violence in this spot. I don't necessarily hate it. I know Gore hasn't fought in a while, and Tulio is getting a lot of finishes in his fights. So from this fight, I'd say that's probably the sharpest bet that I've seen so far.
Okay. All right, we've got some under love on this one, and the under is at a 1.5 market wide from what I'm seeing, guys. Interesting look there. Tresean Gore, usually a guy that's pretty durable, but he's dangerous himself, so I don't mind a little bit of violence here in this fight. That's always good to start a card off. Sumajiri taking on Mitch Raposo. We've got another competitive line here, which is interesting because Sumajiri was one of these minus 200 type of favorites earlier in the week when I broke this thing down on Monday. So have you guys seen any of that dog money on this one, Andrew?
Yes. So we opened up Sumajiri at minus 170. It was one-way action early. The early lines we put out a few weeks ago, and it shot all the way up to 210. Oh, no, 220 on Sumajiri. At that point, one of our more respected bettors did come in on the dog and bet Mitch Raposo at plus 170. So this is another one where we did get a big bet on the dog, which I don't hate this look for sure. I've had some success betting against Sumajiri myself in the past, so I really don't hate the look at plus 170. I know that's not the price it's sitting at anymore. You can get like plus 140 to plus 130. But yeah, it's nice early in the card to have a couple of dog plays by the respected guys.
Absolutely. Man, I love me some Mitch Raposo. He's a guy we've had our eye on. He's a Cage Titans fighter. So shout out Spectation Sports for the shows that they put on over there. I really want to see him get his hand raised here on Saturday. And personally, I just can't lay this kind of chalk on Sumajiri. Now that the number's coming down, it may be a bit of a different story. I was too chicken to actually grab that plus money on Mitch early in the week, but that's the way I would lean as well, as kind of a dog or pass situation here. Next up, Cedric Dumas takes on Michal Zachchuk. Damn near similar to the last fight, Andrew. We've got a big favorite in Michal Zachchuk. Cedric Dumas, a very unpopular underdog just in the general betting market from what I've seen. People don't like the guy. And again, a dog that I was very tempted on because I'm not going to be looking at this price tag on Michal Zachchuk ever. Has anybody been nibbling? Are you guys seeing parlays? What's going on with this one?
This one, I'll say that I feel like we put pretty much the right lineup. We opened this thing at 190. It's sitting 190. It got as high as $2 and as low as 180. So really, it hasn't moved that much. It's bounced around within a 30-cent margin. And there's been some takers on both sides. I don't really have too much to give right now. As of how we sit, we need Dumas for a small win. And I'm sure that's what it will end up looking like tomorrow when you factor in all the parlays and the pay-per-views and stuff. So as of now, we sit needing the Dumas side. But like I said, I think that number is pretty solid that we opened with.
Okay. All right. Feeling good about the number that they opened with. I like where you're sitting. Next up, we've got my favorite, man, the old mangy dog himself, Darren the Damage, Elkins. Takes on Julian Juicy J Rosa. And man, I feel like a broken record. Never Juicy J at minus 300 for me. I am tempted to go one last ride on this old mangy dog, man. Have you seen anything as far as respected action or interesting, notable, or public action on this type of a fight? I feel like this one could be all over the place.
Yeah, I got to say, I was pretty surprised to see a Rosa open up a $4 favorite. That's where, the market is what the market is. Sometimes you can shade it to the lower side. You obviously can't go $2 if the market is $4, right? So you got to stay relatively close to where the market is. But I will say I was pretty surprised to see him open that big of a favorite. We have gotten some action on Elkins, but as I mentioned before, I've kind of done my best to stay on the low side of this fight because I'm not looking to get nailed on a few big bets on that Elkins side. I figured there would be some Elkins money. So now it's sitting a Rosa minus 280. I'm not going to lie to you guys. We haven't gotten too much action on this fight. I do believe it's because we have stayed on the low side of Elkins, or of a Rosa. So we're looking to take a couple of Rosa bets. I'm not trying to win the farm on Elkins, but, it would be nice to get a little bit on the dog here if he is able to. He's always a guy who's fighting for your money. I freaking love Darren Elkins.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I don't hate him at that 3-1 mark where he opened up. But yeah, pretty solid fight.
Okay. That's the kind of thing where if you're listening closely, guys, you pick up a little something there. If they're willing to be a little lower than the market on the favorite side, looking to take some action on the favorite that's a little higher priced other places. Interesting. Very interesting. Next up, my guy, Chase Hooper, the man himself, takes on Jim Miller. Andrew, this fight makes me a little bit sad because it's one of my
Yeah.
young guys versus one of my old guys. I don't want to watch Jim Miller die on camera on Saturday, but I also really want to see my guy hit another round 2, round 3 TKO prop and maybe even cash that ticket for me. So I'm a little torn here emotionally speaking, but it's Chase Hooper season for me. What do you like on this one?
This is a funny one. I mean, the price is pretty much untouchable if you're trying to bet Chase Hooper, right? I mean, unless you're getting into exact rounds or method of victory. I mean, I'm sure those prices are still pretty tough
They're
to
decent.
find.
They're
Yeah,
decent.
find a profit. But so we opened up Hooper at -$5. It's really been one way action. Not a lot of money line, but a lot of parlays. I've honestly seen a lot of future parlays, like people doing, Lakers championship with Chase Hooper. Like it's so funny to see
Mm.
Chase Hooper thrown in with these long shot options. But yeah, there really hasn't been too much on Jim Miller, which is surprising to me because he's another guy who always fights for your money, and it kind of is a bummer because the way the price is going, looks like Chase Hooper is probably going to take care of business. So um, I'm rooting for. I like both guys, but it is sad to see Jim Miller at a 6-1 dog at this point in his career.
I hear you. It is rough when these legends get old. It's the brutal machine of MMA, man. We love it, but these guys get old quick, unfortunately. Next up, Yan Jianan and Verna Jandiroba. This seems like one of the one-sided fights for me. I'm seeing a lot of people agreeing with me, and that always terrifies me. So I'm hoping that you agree with me, because if you and me are on the same side, then it's probably okay. But if it's just me and a bunch of people who think we know what we're talking about online, then I'm very nervous. What's going on action wise for this fight?
So we opened up Verna at -150. It's currently sitting -140. So right where around where the price opened. As of now, we're looking to need Yanjian on for a little bit. We're not doing anything crazy, but we would like to win on that Yanjian on side. After talking to the guys in the back, um, I don't hate her as a dog this week for sure. She's another one who, I mean, I've said it on two of the other fights. She will fight for your money. She always is a tough out for everybody. I do think Verna is a different stylistic matchup for her, but like I said, I do want us to win on that Yan Jianan side a tiny bit. We did also get a very respected bet on the over 2.5 -170, which is where it
Oh.
opened, but now it's in $2. So that's probably the most respected bet I've seen so far on that fight.
Okay, so not so much on the side. The book likes the dog, and the sharp action is on the over for this fight. Interesting, very
Where's
interesting.
your
Uh,
head at on this one?
I like Verna, man. I feel like she's been underrated her entire career. And we
Hmm.
just know that Yan has a real tough time with the takedowns and even the submission defense. So it could be like a 29-28 type of decision, but I wouldn't rule out Verna catching a sub in this type of a spot. There's some history there with these two training together. And we've just seen that Yan can't put a full 15 minutes together staying on the feet the entire time. So I expect she will give up takedowns, and then it's whether or not Verna can get a finish from there. So yeah, I like Verna Jandiroba on this one. She kind of reminds me, I said on my podcast earlier, she kind of reminds me of Bilal. Like, she's got to be undeniable. They're going to put her through the meat grinder. They don't want her touching a title. So she's going to have to beat everybody she can along the way up. She'll have to clean out the division in order to get a title shot. So it's not an easy fight. It's definitely a tough fight. They would prefer Yan to get back on track rather than Verna, but I think Verna's just that good on the mat.
I can see that for sure.
Yeah, tough fight, close fight. We'll
Yeah,
we'll see what ends up
she'll
happening.
definitely win more minutes for sure. For sure, I can see that.
You would think so. The big cage worries me though. If Yan's footwork is improved, if the takedown defense is improved, could be an issue. But that's why the line's close. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, man. The next fight up, Dan Ige taking on Sean Woodson. Another competitive line. Woodson -175, who I'm just always wrong on. And Dan Ige, everybody's favorite underdog, the gatekeeper of this weight class, +145 or so on the dog side of things. Are you guys seeing anything notable on this one?
Yeah, this is actually one we did get some notable action early. We opened up Sean Woodson at -120 right away. We did take respected bet from a sharp customer on Woodson. Instantly, that line was no longer minus 120, right? So now we sit minus 190 on Woodson, which, in my opinion, does seem now like that's kind of getting close to that $2 range where at some point I feel like Dan Igue's got to be a play at plus 170, plus 180 if this line just keeps getting wider and wider. But as of now, we do win small on that Ige side, but this is one we'll probably try to get at least even because there is that sharp action on Woodson early. Along with that sharp action on Woodson, we did get another over bet that was early on and kind of moved the line on that over 2.5 in this fight as well, minus 250. Laying a little juice on an over, but yeah, some sharp money there as well.
All right, so we've got Sean Woodson and the over for the sharp and respected action here on this fight. Unless I'm mistaken, yeah, shout out my guy Dream in the chat. Woodson opened up at plus money most places, so some people did snag a plus number. I can completely respect taking plus money on Sean Woodson, especially with the run that he has been on, but minus 175, no. That's where I draw the line, man. I did jump in on Dan Ige at that spot. I agree with the books and their original projections of this fight that he should be favored here. We'll see what happens. You know, I'm willing to buy low on Dan Ige, but we'll see what happens. I don't mind the look on the overs as well. But I do feel like Sean Woodson's durability, eventually someone's going to catch him, and the power of Ige is something I like to believe in. So,
and it's expensive. 250, it's up to 290 on a 2.5. And Ige, yeah, I mean, you're laying a lot of juice on a 2.5, right? For two guys who have finishing potential for sure.
Absolutely. Dangerous game we play. Next up, Nikita Krylov takes on Dominic Reyes, and this number's been all over all week. Zigzagging up, down, left, right. Like, this fight is so wild to me, man. I do have a side that I like on this one, but I need to hear what you've got to say. I'm getting nervous. I'm sweating bullets. Last week, I picked a very bad dog to be my dog of the week, and he blew it. He missed weight by a mile, and pictures are starting to circulate of Dom Reyes just maybe not being in the most tip-top of shape. So I'm sweating here again that, you know, the read on paper, the tape study tells me that one side is good, but then you get the Friday and these guys miss weight and they look like ass on the scale and things change in a hurry. So I need some backup from you, man. What are you seeing here? Is there anything we should know?
This has been a weird one, man. This is another one that hasn't drove as much handle as I kind of expected. Maybe it's because of the question marks. We haven't seen Krylov fight in a while. Obviously, Dominic Reyes had that run where he was kind of getting knocked out back-to-back fights. But he put two good fights together, and he's coming off two big knockouts. This is one where I think I kind of disagree with some of the guys in the back. They think Krylov is the side, but I mean, I was never looking to lay $2 on a guy who hasn't fought in so long. So I'm kind of, if I was to bet this one, I think I would be betting maybe Reyes by knockout or the Reyes side at plus money. But we did open up Krylov at minus 180. It's ping-ponged around up to $2 and now back down to 170. So it's been in that 30-cent range the whole time. Small shots on both sides. But if I was to bet it, I think I would lean the dog here.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that you at least agree with me. I mean, the boys in the back worry me a little bit that they're not on the same side. But yeah, man, I like the dog here in Dom Reyes. It's never Nikita Krylov at that price tag, in my opinion. And, you know, it could be a violent fight, though. I kind of lean towards the under here. I'm not sure about the 1.5, though. Have you seen anything on the total in this fight?
Yeah, I mean, there's been more action on the under. The total is 1.5 under plus 120, so you get slight plus money on the under. I would guess we're going to need the over in this fight because of all the uncertainties with Reyes' chin and how he's looking on the scales or whatever. And then, like I said, Krylov hasn't fought in over a year. Like, it's been a while for Krylov.
I think it's been
right?
2 years. He had a shoulder surgery.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's a lot of question marks in this fight. This is a tough one to book. That's why for me personally, I could never lay $2 on a guy that, like you said, hasn't fought in 2 years. It's tough.
Yep, we'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, we're getting down to the end of this thing. Do me a favor, please share the show if you haven't yet. Hit the like button at the very least, and make sure you follow my guy Andrew from Superbook Sports to appreciate the information and time that he is gifting us here on the show. Bryce Mitchell takes on Gene Silva. Bryce Mitchell has run his mouth, and Gene Silva's got a job to do. And we saw Gene Silva struggle a little bit on the scales this morning. He did take a second crack at it, guys. He did get the weight at 146. So no issues. Second attempt. We're good to go. Fight is on. No purse. But it's a couple of crazy people in a cage, man. Anything can happen on this one. I'm sure, like me, there's plenty of public action on the Gene Silva side. I'm seeing a lot of people who are sharp, who I respect amongst the community, who are taking the dog shots here on Bryce Mitchell. But it's Gene Silva for me, man. I'm buying. The fighting nerds, I'm in. Gene Silva, the hype, I'm in. What are you seeing over there across the table, though?
Well, I'll start it out with saying, if you're in on Gene Silva, the price has been getting more and more in your favor, right? I mean, we opened this thing up at minus 320 on Gene Silva.
That's crazy.
Right away, we were getting some sharp action on Bryce Mitchell at that big plus money. And you know what? I want to give myself a little bit of credit. I did tell these guys I thought that this price was outlandish, over $3 on Gene Silva, just because of the stylistic threat that Bryce Mitchell offers. I just knew that there would be some money on that Bryce Mitchell side. So now that it's sitting 190, though, I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I still think Gene Silva is most likely going to win the fight. But, yeah, there's been some big-time sharp action on the Bryce Mitchell side. Obviously, it's a much different price. You're getting plus 165 now. There was guys betting plus 265. So the number has moved a drastic amount. I know most of the guys in the back just think Silva is going to knock him out. So, I mean, I can see that for sure. But it's, like I said, it is interesting to see that sharp action on the dog. So I'll be pulling for the dog, and I'm sure at the end of the day, the book will be rooting for the dog.
Okay, man, I'm telling you, Bryce Mitchell, I think he's hosed. You know, Gene Silva's pissed off, and at weigh-ins, again, I'm spoiling my own show later, but he's like screaming at Bryce Mitchell that he's going to knock him out during his weight miss with the box of shame up there. Locks in, goes back, loses the weight, comes out and does it again. Like, this guy is dead set on KOing Bryce Mitchell. I've never seen someone call their shot like this. This is Babe Ruth on steroids, trying to tell people what's coming. I'm going to have to play the KO prop in some form or fashion, just because he absolutely is saying without a shadow of a doubt, it's happening. So I tend to believe someone who's insane as Gene Silva is. Let's go. Next up, you guys, Yair Rodriguez, Patrici Pitbull being welcomed to the UFC quite rudely here. Another line where you've got a minus 200 favorite. Pitbull, a guy who at plus money seems very, very enticing, but he is a little bit on the older side. Andrew, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, this is another fun one that I'll just be completely honest with. I'm pretty surprised that it has good handle, but not as much as maybe I'm overexcited for it, because I've been waiting for Patricio Pitbull, to get his shot in the UFC for so long. Right now, we do need Patricio Pitbull for a small margin. We did take some bigger action on Yair early, but the line has stayed relatively the same the whole time. We opened up Yair at $2. It got as high as 210 and as low as 190. So this is another one that's been right within those 30 cents pretty much the whole time we've booked it. But as of today, like I said, we do need Pitbull for a small win. Yeah, the majority of the money has come in on that Yair side early.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with that. The problem for me is that I think there's a very clear and easy path to beating, not easy, but a very clear path to beating Yair Rodriguez. And it's just a matter of whether or not Pitbull takes that path. It's not something that he generally does, or at least has done recently. If he was still training out at Fight Ready with Henry Cejudo, I'd be all in. I was planning on max betting Pitbull in this spot, Andrew. Like, when they announced the fight, I was like, we're shipping it. Max bet, dog of the week, everything. I want all the Pitbull. And then you run through his recent tape, and he's just not fighting the way that he used to. And that's what worries me, is that he's got it in him to win this fight. Whether or not he actually comes out and does the thing that he's supposed to do, that's really the question for me. So I'm a little cautiously optimistic here. I want to see Patricio Pitbull get this win. I want to see him beat Yair Rodriguez, and I want to be right about him being able to abuse the easy path to getting there. I'm just not sure if I can get there with my cash, because there's a very real possibility that in his old age he's not fighting the way he should be. Co-main event, the one we've all been waiting for: Michael Chandler, Paddy the Baddy. Paddy Pimpblelet finally got a taste of, a step up in competition and going a little bit deep and facing some adversity. And the UFC said, all right, kid, it's time. Now you're ready. He's got to step into the contender circle for real now. 25-minute, 5-round co-main event against the guy who has fought the who's who of this weight class and is kind of a legend in his own right. Paddy, a short favorite. What's going on over on your side of the desk, man?
So, you know how we put some of those lines up early. This is one of those fights where we got it up right when it was announced. We opened this thing a straight pick, so -110 both ways. That early money was on Paddy, and that's why I think you can kind of see the price has shifted his direction. We currently sit -150 on Paddy. It did get as high as 160, but this has been one that's been really, really easy to book. Because there has been some takers on that Chandler side. It has come in at plus money, like at plus 120, plus 130, people are starting to bet Chandler. So this one has been real easy to balance the books. John is a big Paddy guy, so we're gonna try to win a little bit on that Paddy side. Nothing crazy, but like I said, yeah, Paddy will be a public favorite tomorrow. I'm sure we're gonna write a lot of Paddy money, so we've kind of positioned ourselves to need Paddy because we feel like there's going to be a lot of Paddy money tomorrow. So, yeah, I feel like we sit in a great spot on this fight, honestly. It's been a fun one to book. Strong takers on both sides. Early money Paddy, but nothing overly respected.
What's your side? What do you like on this one?
I can understand both sides, honestly. I think with the tinfoil hat, I would say I think the UFC clearly is at a spot where they're a little low on superstars. So I think they really, really want Paddy to get the win in this spot, honestly. But then this is obviously a big step up in competition. So betting Chandler at plus money, I know a lot of smart people that are in the back that like the Chandler side. I cannot hate on them for that either. So I won't. Okay. That's a lame answer for you, but I guess if I had to bet, I'd bet Paddy.
Okay. All right. And now the one thing I want to ask about this one before we move on to the main event, do you have anything on the total? Because this one seems very intriguing to me. It's a tale of two sides here. I'm seeing lines mostly out there at 1.5, but they're chalked very, very heavily to the over. And then you get 2.5s. That is closer to pick 'em, but they are chalked to the under. So bookmakers are telling you this thing's gonna get up and over that first round, but they're saying it's probably not gonna get out of round 3 into the championship rounds. So it's kind of this intriguing little middle window that they're giving you depending on how you want to play it. I could see this fight going longer than people expect personally.
Yeah, this is one where I think the number has intrigued people to bet the over. We opened this thing at 1.5, -170. There's been some biters, not too much on the over. We do need the under slightly. But this is a weird one. Like you said, it's a 5-round fight. I feel like, there's so many questions in this fight, man. It's a fun one. But as of now, we need the under slightly. And we're sitting over 1.5, -190 right now.
Okay. All right. Over 1.5, -190. Interesting information here, you guys. Hopefully you're enjoying the show. Hopefully this information is useful to you. And here we are, the main event of the evening. Alexander Volkanovski taking on Diego Lopez for the vacant title here at 145 pounds. Very interesting fight. You've got one guy that's a complete hype train, came out of nowhere, rose through the ranks about as quickly as anybody ever has, and then who is essentially the GOAT of this weight class, having dropped his belt to the next generation. And unfortunately, that next generation has decided to move up in weight, so he's got a crack at getting his title back. Is it a throwback? Are we getting old school Volkanovski back reigning over his division now that he's taking on somebody who isn't just, destined to be at 155 pounds later on in their life? Or is it time for Diego Lopez to take the strap? What's going on? What do you think? And what are you seeing for action on this fight?
I don't know if this is going to surprise anybody, but I would say this has been maybe one of the most bet fights I can remember in the last year or so. Like, people are really, really intrigued in this fight. This is another one, like I mentioned, we opened early with that Patty fight. We opened up Volk minus 160. We did all the way down to a pick'em. We were taking Lopez money, multiple five-figure bets early on that Lopez side. And then, like I said, it went from minus 160 all the way down to a pick'em, minus 110 both sides. Then we started getting big time respected action on Volkanovski, and you kind of saw the price shooting back up. We're currently sitting minus 140 on Volkanovski. This is a tug of war, man. Like, there's really respected action on both sides. So this is another one where I love to book these kind of fights where there's strong opinions on both sides, and you can kind of just do your job and book it in the middle and just write good action on both sides. So, like I said, we do have sharp action on Lopes at plus 130. Like I said, it got down to a pick'em, but that price is now back at minus 140, and it might get back up to where you can bet plus 120, plus 130 on Lopes again. So, yeah, dude, this has been an awesome fight to book, honestly.
It's a little bit of a zigzag, and it seems like it's easy work for you guys to just kind of sit this one out. So I got to ask, I got to put you on the hot seat. The book's going to be nice and balanced. You guys will take a little bit of a win no matter what, but what side do you like? Well, who do you think's getting their hand raised?
I do think it's interesting that the price never flipped. It got down to 110, and it never flipped. So it's hard to say I like Volk in this spot because he's coming off 2 losses, and usually history does not go well for the champions, whatever, over 35 that are on a losing streak and lose the belt, especially at these lower weight classes. But if I had to bet my money, I'm betting on Volk. I just think the pedigree, if he can get through those first 2 rounds, I trust that guy a lot more. I know he's got the cardio advantage in those later rounds. I'm leaning Volk here. But this is another one where I can't hate on somebody for taking plus money on the Lopes side. So I like Volk. We're going to try to win a little bit on Volk, but like I said, this one's more try to win on just the fight in general. Balance it.
Gotcha. I'm with you on the Volk side, man. I am there as well. So hopefully you can win, I can win, we can win, and we can see the GOAT get his belt back one last time. It would also be cool to see him beat that 35-year-old bar that's been set, that nobody's ever been able to recapture the title after the age of 35 at these weight classes. So definitely rooting for the guy to go ahead and be a 1 of 1 in this weight class and do that. He already is a 1 of 1, but him having some kind of a record like that next to his name would be really freaking cool. All right, guys, there are about 400 of you live watching this show right now. So thank you all for being here. Appreciate you watching the show. Hope that information is good and useful to you so you can place some good solid wagers tomorrow at UFC 314. Join me later on for the undefeated post weigh-in show after the ceremonial weigh-ins. But right now, let's kick it on over to my guy, Andrew. Thank you for the time, man. Thank you for the information. And is there anything you want to shout out for the people? Let them know where they can find you, support you. If you guys have any, deals coming up or, playoffs are right around the corner. What's going on over at Superbook?
Yeah, absolutely. So these 2 main fights, we're going to do some reduced juice on the day of the fights. So if you haven't bet them yet, you can get the best price that's going to be available anywhere tomorrow before the fights. We're going to change the splits. And, I mean, these are 2 awesome fights where, like you said, most pay-per-views, we're looking at a $3 favorite in the main event. So we got 2 close fights. I'm looking forward to them. Stop by the sportsbook if you are in Vegas. And also follow me on Twitter if you haven't. And if you guys have any questions or want fights up early, I'm your guy for that. So, like always, appreciate your time, Clay. It feels like it's been forever since we've done these things. But I always look forward to doing this show with you, man. It's a lot of fun.
Right back at you, man. I appreciate the time. It's always fun talking fights with you. And again, appreciate that information. If you guys are in or around Vegas, Superbook is the place to be. That place is awesome. I know you can't tell from the shot right here with Andrew, but that is a massive room behind him. The chairs are comfy. The food is good. The prices are good. They got reduced juice. It's a great place to be. Go hang out. Have a good time. Check it out. Thank you guys again for being here. Appreciate you. Hit the like button on your way out and join me for the undefeated post weigh-in show immediately following the ceremonial weigh-ins this evening. Appreciate you guys one more time. Let's roll.